Να καθίσουμε τώρα παρακαλώ για να αρχίσουμε.
Λίγο κύριε από μπροστά.
Λοιπόν, να δώσουμε, εντάξει, πρόσβαση στις κάμερες, ωραία. Λοιπόν, καλή σας μέρα κυρίες και κύριοι. Ευχαριστούμε για την συμμετοχή σας στη συνέντευξη τύπου του κυρίου Μοσκοβισί, τον οποίον υποδεχόμαστε στη χώρα μας και στην αντιπροσωπεία της Ευρωπαϊκής Επιτροπής στην Ελλάδα με μεγάλη μας χαρά. Είναι ο Επίτροπος, και δεν θα σας έχει διαφύγει, ο οποίος έχει επισκεφθεί πιο πολύ την Ελλάδα από οποιοδήποτε άλλο ξένο επίτροπο, και δεν θα σας διέφυγε επίσης της προσοχής ότι η πυκνότητα, η συχνότητα των επισκέψεων αυτών είναι μεγαλύτερη τον τελευταίο καιρό. Θα ήθελα λοιπόν να τον ευχαριστήσω για τις συχνές επισκέψεις και τη στήριξη που δίνει στη χώρα μας και να του δώσω αμέσως το λόγο για να μας δώσει ορισμένα μηνύματα και να μας περιγράψει τα αποτελέσματα της επίσκεψής του στην Ελλάδα.
Thank you, Panos. Good morning. I spent already a very productive 24 hours in Athens. The frequency of my visits is explained by the fact that I represent the Commission inside the Eurogroup, when especially the Greek issue, the Greek program is concerned. I've had meetings with President Pavlopoulos, whom I didn't meet before. With Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, we had a very long meeting. We have a very strong and confident working relationship now. With the Finance Minister, my good friend Euclid Sakalotos, with the Economy and Development Minister, the new Minister, Dimios Papadimitriou, and the Labour Minister, Efi Atsioglu. And I also participated yesterday in a dinner hosted by the American Hellenic Chamber of Commerce, to which I delivered a keynote speech. That was the occasion for me to meet something like 500 business people here in Greece. And I had an interesting working breakfast with the Hellenic Federation of Enterprises, SEV, who shared with me their perspective on developments in the real economy, which is a key because the objective that we are pursuing together is Greece going back to growth and creating jobs. A strong Greece at the core of the Eurozone. This must be our common target. I wanted to make this second visit to Athens. I'm not mentioning private visits this year because we are approaching another important moment in the Greek story. As I have reiterated to my interlocutors all over the past day, Greece has made very significant progress since the stability support program was launched in that difficult, turbulent summer of 2015. I was in that Eurogroup on the 12th of July. The very ambitious first review of the third program has, as you may know, been successfully concluded. It was in September, and the second review is now moving forward. And I would say it is moving forward well. Of course, there is still work to be done. There are still delicate issues to resolve. But while the reform discussions are challenging, there are also essential steps along the path towards a more competitive, stronger, fairer Greece. So my message is that we must continue together along this path with resolve, with determination, but also with, yes, I would use that word, optimism. All in all, I'm optimistic for Greece, and for Greece in Europe, and for Greece in the Eurozone. I will not comment on each and every measure on which we need to agree. I will simply say that I am convinced that solutions can be found if all parties engage with the right spirit. I've urged all of my interlocutors in the government to make an extra effort to reach a staff-level agreement in time for the Eurogroup of the 5th of December. What is a staff-level agreement? It is an agreement between the staff of the institutions that are working on Greece, meaning the Commission, the ECB, and my friend Benoît Cœuré was also here in town yesterday, the ESM, and the IMF. And there cannot be any division between those institutions. The only way to secure good agreements in the Eurogroup is that all the institutions work together, hand in hand. Of course, they are different. Of course, they might think at the start slightly differently. But in the end, you need all the institutions together. And in my view, it involves very clearly the IMF. There cannot be, there must not be, there won't be a divide between the IMF and the European institutions. Next Monday is the 5th of December, and that's the moment when the Eurogroup will meet, and the Eurogroup needs to meet on the basis of a staff-level agreement. So my first message is that this staff-level agreement, by the end of the week, 3 days from now, is not only necessary but also feasible. And moreover, it's clearly in Greece's best interest. In these uncertain time for the global economy and also turbulent time for world politics, it will send a signal to Greece's European partners and also to investors that the country is moving forward along the path I designed of reform and recovery. My second message is that if Greece fulfills its reforms commitments, then its partners should also keep their side of the bargain. The Greek authorities take their responsibilities. We must take ours. That means that we must work towards reaching a global agreement, including on debt, before the end of this year, because there is a window of opportunity in that period. And that's why this meeting of Monday is so crucial. Almost a year and a half into the program, Greece has a renewed growth perspective. And that's what I discussed as well with the ministers, but also with the business. Fiscal consolidation and structural reforms are starting to pay off. Already in 2015, back 1 year ago, the Greek economy contracted, but far less than everyone expected, given the number of challenges faced. It is the same for 2016. GDP growth is expected to return in the second half of this year. It is there. And to be positive overall in 2017, our forecast in the Commission is between 2.5 and 3%. There are some encouraging signs from the labour market as well. The first 10 months of this year saw the highest cumulative net hiring since 2001. Unemployment has decreased to below 24%, from a high of 27% less than 3 years ago. Let's be clear, unemployment is still hugely high, and those figures are not acceptable in the long run. But things are at last moving in the right direction, and this is the direction in which we must engage. And more than that, we must accelerate in that direction. These trends now need to be solidified in order to pay dividends to the Greek people, because this is done for them, and to the economy, and on a long-term basis. That includes by ensuring, though I know it seems controversial to some to say this, that businesses must be given the environment to stay in Greece and to thrive. It's not a matter of ideology. You need to have a pro-business strategy in all our countries, because it's the firms that create jobs, that invest, finally. Investment must be a priority for Greece. As well, domestic investment, but also foreign direct investors must be here comfortable. And Greece needs to be, even more than it is today, and it has huge assets for that, an attractive country. And it must be put to work such that businesses can actively contribute to job and growth creation. As I said yesterday evening in my address to the Greek Economic Conference, I see 4 conditions for Greece to achieve prosperity and stability in the long run. First, growth must be inclusive. That means that the social welfare system should focus on supporting those who risk being left behind or who are left behind. A nation's wealth cannot be at the expense of its middle and lower classes. Everybody must be on board. Nobody must be left apart. This is a huge challenge, but we must address it. Second, everybody should contribute his or her fair share. I would like to see Greece becoming a positive example for improved revenue collection, for tackling tax avoidance and ensuring fair burden sharing across society. It is a matter of efficiency for public finances. It is a matter of fairness for the people. Third, ownership across the political spectrum is needed to ensure stable economic governance, effective reform implementation and results. Greece is where democracy was born, and you love controversies, political controversies. We love that all over Europe and in the democratic world. It's a very interesting sport that I've been practicing quite a lot. But it must not be contradictory to stability as far as reform is concerned. And fourth, as Greece's future lies in the euro area, the country must become an active participant in its European future again. We need European ideas from Greece. Greece is a geopolitical partner of a special place and a special role. Here, you're in the front line of the refugee crisis. You have a very special relationship with your powerful and sometimes difficult neighbor, Turkey. There are talks ongoing on Cyprus reunification, and the Commission really wants these talks to lead to this reunification. And these are challenges as well for growth, but for Europe as a whole. And this is why we need an active Greece in the European field, and that is the case. To conclude, now it is the time to solidify the perspective of recovery. The swift closure of the second review is one way to boost confidence, liquidity, and to show just how far Greece has come and that it is delivering. And provided Greece delivers on its commitments, its European partners should also deliver on them, in line with the May 2016 Accord. So I repeat that our target in the Commission is to reach a global agreement by the end of this year, involving the second review and including talks on debt. This is doable, this is feasible, but again, the precondition is that we have this week a staff-level agreement involving all partners, and that's the message that I clearly carried to Prime Ministers Tsipras, the members of the government, and the leaders of the economy that I have the occasion to meet. Thank you very much, and now I look forward to taking your questions and try to answer them, if I may.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ για την πολύ ξεκάθαρη τοποθέτηση. Να αρχίσουμε με τον κύριο Σιακαντάρη, από το Α.
Welcome, Mr. Moskovisi. Very optimistic words. Now we can all wait in the next couple of hours someone from the German Foreign Ministry coming down hard on any optimism. But beyond words, there are numbers, and they suggest that either way, Greece is trapped to further austerity. And I would like to ask you, I heard, like you, Minister Tsakalotos, yesterday making a plea for justice and decency in the parts of creditors, and I would like to ask you, does the Commission believe that austerity is as bad for Greece as it is for other deficit member states such as Spain or Portugal at this point? Because the businesses will not come back without a better tax environment, which is not possible right now, and it's not going to be in the years to come. Thank you.
First, you say I'm optimistic. You now start to know me for a few years. And yes, I'm the optimistic guy, not a naive optimist. I was never. I know the difficulties. I've been in those talks for so long now. I imagine that during those 5 years I must have something like, I don't know, 80 Euro groups about Greece, and none of them was really easy. Some were easier than other ones, but it's a tough dossier, of course. But like Antonio Gramsci said, you must have the pessimism of the reason, but also optimism of the will. There is a will, and there is a way. And this way is to build or rebuild a strong Greece inside the Eurozone. If I look at what we have already done, 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, when I became finance minister of my country, France, and when Mr. Samaras first came to visit President Hollande and myself, I was there at the Élysée Palace in June, the risk was the crisis even bigger. Then we spoke about Brexit for years. It's over. There is no question about Brexit. And this situation is improving. Now Greece can come back to growth, and hopefully will come back to growth. So that's my optimism. I would say it is so much a common interest to find good deals between Greece and the EU, because we are the same family, that I always believe that we can make it. Until now, I was always right, and I hope I will be right in the future.
On the austerity issue?
I'm coming to that. What is austerity? Austerity is when public policies destroy public services, weaken a country, and excludes a large part of the population. I'm anti-austerity, and this Commission is not about austerity. As you know, we have introduced in our budget surveillance some flexibility for investment, for structural reforms, for facing the refugee crisis, for earthquake, for Italy, for example. We try to be clever, but we are never lenient to anybody. We're always acting in the framework of the rules. I'm the Commissioner for ECFIN, that means rules to me. We are a rules-based system. And last week, we delivered also a statement saying that we would like to see the aggregate fiscal stance of the Eurozone becoming positive now. We have a monetary policy which is accommodative. We need to have a fiscal policy that is supportive. So no, this Commission is not about austerity. It is neither about austerity in Greece. We want the Greek people to see the fruits of their own efforts. So no, clearly, we are supporting inclusive growth, social justice, social fairness, tax fairness, and we're not advocating for austerity. But let's be clear, this economy and this society suffered from major imbalances, and structural reforms are and were necessary. If not, the economy wouldn't be capable of facing the world as it is and the Eurozone as it is. So yes, there are still efforts to be made. There are still reforms to be made, but no austerity. What we want is growth. And that's why I think we are at a turning point now. A lot of efforts have been made. The third program until now is a success. The first review is a success. The second review can and must be a success. Then we can open TED Talks on a positive basis. Maybe some other colleagues are less optimistic by the will, but in the end we always find an agreement. And we need to have everybody on board, whatever the institution is concerned. And again, you cannot divide the EU and the IMF, and whatever the nation state is concerned. And of course, we need to fully respect Germany's preoccupation in that discussion. We always do. But, well, that's a narrow path, but I wouldn't call that austerity. I read in some French press that I was here to try to convince you to more austerity. That is certainly not my intention. And this was never my way of thinking, and never Jean-Claude Juncker way of thinking. Effort, yes. Be serious, yes. Austerity, no.
Thank you. Θα πάρουμε μία από πίσω. Παρακαλώ. Ο κύριος Παπαγεωργίου.
Thank you. We are talking on debt relief measures, always within the framework of the Eurogroup decision in May. In your opinion, which kind of conditionality should be related to these measures whenever they are implemented?
First things first. The precondition is that we have a staff-level agreement, that we have positive moves on the second review, and then we can start further talks. So I'm not moving to the end.
Okay, thank you. Κυρία Χρυσολορά.
Ναι, κύριε Επίτροπε, έχετε πει, είπατε και χθες και σήμερα, ότι οι θεσμοί πρέπει να είναι ενωμένοι. Ξέρουμε ότι το Διεθνές Νομισματικό Ταμείο ζητάει επιπλέον δημοσιονομικά μέτρα από την κυβέρνηση προκειμένου να επιστρέψει στο πρόγραμμα. Για να επιτύχει αυτό το στόχο του 3,5% πρωτογενούς πλεονάσματος που έχει τεθεί ως στόχος. Συμφωνεί η Ευρωπαϊκή Επιτροπή ότι χρειάζονται επιπλέον δημοσιονομικά μέτρα?
I never comment on what can divide the institutions. It's clear that we can have different methods, also different sensitivities sometimes, but we need to be together. The Commission considers that the fiscal gap must be fulfilled in the framework of the program, and that appropriate measures must be taken, but doesn't mean more measures than the one that are foreseen. We have a MOU, and we must stick to that. No more, no less.
Thank you. Παρακαλώ.
Βαγγέλης Δωράκης από τηλεόραση του ΑΛΦΑ. Κάτι δεν καταλαβαίνω εδώ. Βαγγέλης Δωράκης από τηλεόραση του ΑΛΦΑ. Κάτι δεν καταλαβαίνω εδώ. Λέτε ότι οι θεσμοί πρέπει να είναι ενωμένοι. Έχουμε λοιπόν από τη μία το Διεθνές Νομισματικό Ταμείο που ζητάει λιτότητα. Το Βερολίνο που ζητάει λιτότητα. Εσάς που λέτε όχι στη λιτότητα. Και ζητάτε κάποια επιπλέον μέτρα ανάταξης, πώς τα είπατε, ανισορροπίες, ανάταξης των ισορροπιών. Τελικά ποιες είναι οι διαφορές? Και τι ζητάει, ποια είναι η φιλοσοφία της μιας πλευράς και ποια της άλλης? Δηλαδή, επί ποιων μέτρων μιλάμε αυτή τη στιγμή και πού είναι οι διαφορές μας? Ευχαριστώ.
That's the magic of working between different institutions and in the framework of the Eurogroup. That's what Europe is about. In Europe, we have different countries, different size, different economic situations, different governments. Some are center-left, others are liberal, others are center-right, some are coalition governments, some feel that way, some feel the other way, and we have to build compromise. So I won't give you a precise description of everybody's position, but in the end, we must reach a common position. And the specificity of the Commission is that the Commission is the body which is supposed to represent the general interest of Europe. And our view is that we are a rules-based system, that efforts must be made. I'm always saying that efforts are necessary, reforms are necessary. This doesn't mean austerity. There is no equivalence between reform and austerity. Because if you say that, you never reform your own country. And if you don't reform your country, you're not capable of reaching a strong, a positive situation for your economy. And so let's see how the magic will operate in the coming days and weeks. Let's call it another way. It's not magic. It's just the spirit of compromise. It will be tough. I know that we are facing times which are not going to be simple. The Eurogroup of the 5th of December is of high importance. It might not be the last one to discuss about Greece. I imagine that there could be other discussions, but we all have a positive spirit because finally, with all these differences, we share a common goal that is, again, a stronger Greece with stronger economic structures inside the Eurozone. We've made a lot of way already. There is still a path to go on.
Thank you. Η κυρία, καλό, εδώ μπροστά.
Έλενα Λάσκαρη από το Euro Today. Την προηγούμενη φορά μας είχατε πει ότι, είχατε στείλει μάλλον ένα μήνυμα, ότι ο στόχος για το πρωτογενές πλεόνασμα 3,5% δεν μεταβάλλεται. Εξακολουθεί να ισχύει η ίδια θέση από την πλευρά της Κομισιόν και αν ναι, για πόσα χρόνια θα κληθεί η Ελλάδα να επιτυγχάνει πρωτογενές πλεόνασμα 3,5%.
But again, I try not to have too many personal initiatives because we are there to build the compromise. And we've got a roadmap, and that roadmap is the MOU. And the MOU sets very precise fiscal targets during the program, which lasts until 2018. After that, we are no more in the program, so things might be different. And they have to be considered another way.
Thank you. Κυρία Κατά.
Γεια σας, Δήμητρα Κατά από το capital.gr. Μια ερώτηση. Ο συμβιβασμός, ούτως ώστε να μετάσχει το Διεθνές Νομισματικό Ταμείο, το οποίο λέει ότι το πρωτογενές πλεόνασμα είναι στο 1,5% του ΑΕΠ χωρίς νέα μέτρα, μπορεί να φέρει και μέτρα έως το 2018. Ευχαριστώ.
Yes, again, we want the IMF to be on board. And you must understand that the IMF is a very important partner for Greece first, and also for Greece's creditors. His presence is an insurance, a security, a major one. I'm not going to comment on our internal talks on details. We might have some differences in appreciating the calculation of surpluses, but again, we must find the appropriate path for before 2018. We already know that, and for later. For before, it is a program, and it is the MOU.
Okay, thank you. Από πίσω να πάρουμε μια ερώτηση από την κυρία, πίσω.
Bonjour, Hélène Koliopoulos from AFP. Do you exclude a fourth program for Greece after 2018 and more austerity measures? Thank you.
We're not considering a fourth program. We're in the third program. 3 is a lot. And what we would like is that program to be a success so that there is an exit for the program. That's clearly our target. If you look at the so-called program countries, Ireland is out of its program. Portugal is out of this program. Spain avoided a global program. Cyprus is out of the program. There is just one country left with a program, which is Greece. And I think that 3 is just enough. But for that, we need to succeed until the end of the program, to be very serious, very cautious, very constructive until then. So I cannot exclude, but certainly that's not what we want. When you see the difficulty of this for both Greece and its partners, I think we must enter, we are in a virtuous circle. That is the success of this program leading to, I would say, a normal situation. When I go to present budget surveillance, I always say, I will tell you about the Eurozone, 18 countries and one in the program. My dream is that in 2019, at the end of my mandate, I can come in the press conference and say, I will tell you about the budget surveillance of the 19 countries of the Eurozone, none being in a program.
Thank you. Ο κύριος Παππούς ζήτησε τον λόγο. Ναι, ο κύριος Παππούς. Ναι, εσείς, κύριε Παππού.
Γεια σας. Γιώργος Παππούς από το ΆΗ Εφημερίδα. Θα ήθελα να ρωτήσω πώς βλέπετε στην Ευρωπαϊκή Επιτροπή το ενδεχόμενο πρόωρων εκλογών στην Ελλάδα. Ευχαριστώ.
I'm a bit surprised by your question because we are not involved in Greece politics. There is a government. This government is legitimate. It has a majority. We are, of course, in contact with opposition parties. That's logical. We want to discuss with all democratic forces in Greece. But it's up to them to organize the political spectrum. As I said, one thing is very important for us is stability in the governance, stability of the commitments to reform. After that, for the democratic rhythm, it's not up to us to decide, but we are working in good conditions with Alexis Tsipras' government and seeing that we're working in the framework of a common roadmap, which is the MOU, and that there are strong deliveries of reforms, and that this must go on. For the rest, it's up to you to decide. Not you, the journalists, but you, the Greeks.
Okay, thank you. Παρακαλώ, μάλιστα. Για πάρτε το μικρόφωνο.
Κύριε Επίτροπε, καλώς ήρθατε. Δημητρέλης από το ΣΤΑΡ. Το Διεθνές Νομισματικό Ταμείο χαρακτηρίζει την περαιτέρω μείωση του αφορολόγητου ορίου στην Ελλάδα και την περαιτέρω μείωση των καταβαλλόμενων συντάξεων εκτός από δημοσιονομικά, κυρίως διαρθρωτικά μέτρα. Τα θεωρεί μεταρρυθμίσεις για διεύρυνση της φορολογικής βάσης κλπ. Για μοίρασμα του βάρους του ασφαλιστικού χαμηλότερα, προκειμένου να μειωθούν οι φορολογικοί, τα θεωρεί διαρθρωτικά μέτρα, εν πάση περιπτώσει. Εγώ, χωρίς να θέλω να σχολιάσετε το τι λέει το Διεθνές Νομισματικό Ταμείο που αποφεύγεται μέχρι τώρα, θέλω να σας ρωτήσω ποια είναι η θέση της Κομισιόν σε σχέση με αυτά τα δύο ζητήματα και αν με βάση την εικόνα που εσείς έχετε, αν αυτά τα δύο στοιχεία, αν αυτές οι δύο παρεμβάσεις μπορούν να αποτελέσουν στοιχείο του συμβιβασμού που αναζητάτε και καλείτε όλους να έρθουν σε ένα συμβιβασμό. Ευχαριστώ.
But you made the answer yourself. I'm not going to comment on this or that position. I'm going to work for the compromise. And I insisted especially on the fact that we must, of course, have a sound fiscal policy and have a good deal on collective bargaining.
Thank you. Ο κύριος Φιλιππίδης. Εδώ μπροστά.
Είμαι ο Νίκος Φιλιππίδης από το Sky. Καλημέρα σας. Σας ακούσαμε νωρίτερα να μιλάτε για την επιχειρηματικότητα και να λέτε ότι θα πρέπει να τονωθεί η ανάπτυξη. Κάποιοι λένε ότι με αυτούς τους φορολογικούς συντελεστές και με αυτές τις ασφαλιστικές εισφορές τέτοιου είδους ανάπτυξη, τουλάχιστον από νέες επενδύσεις των επιχειρήσεων, πολύ δύσκολα θα έρθει. Ακούσαμε και χθες μια πρόταση του Υπουργού των Οικονομικών, κ. Τσακαλώτου, ότι μία μονάδα από το 3,5% του πρωτογενούς πλεονάσματος θα μπορούσε να πάει για μείωση φορολογικών συντελεστών. Υπάρχει στην ατζέντα των συζητήσεων, είτε των τωρινών, είτε των επόμενων μηνών, των επόμενων αξιολογήσεων, μείωση φόρων? Ευχαριστώ.
you must understand what the program is. The program is not us deciding of everything in this country. A program country is not a country which has lost its sovereignty. And no country in Europe has lost its sovereignty to fix its own tax rates. So it's up again to the Greek government and to the Greek political spectrum to decide that. It is clear that I felt with all my interlocutors that there was a demand from the business to diminish tax rate. I cannot comment on that. The only thing I can say is what I told all my interlocutors, that you need to have a pro-business environment, that reforms are necessary to be a full, a strong, a coherent Eurozone partner, but that you need to do more to boost investment. Then it's not up to me to say what and how, but it's clear that there are huge assets in this country. There is a skilled workforce, a lot of creativity, intelligence, and this country has really what it takes to be a strong economy. And we would like that to be developed. That's why we're also encouraging the banking sector to stabilize its situation and to address the NPLs problem, which is high. That's why also we are acting through structural funds. That's why I would like to see more Juncker Plan projects being developed here in Greece in order to boost. But again, the success of the program itself, the fact that we concluded the first review, then that we can conclude the second review, is a very strong signal to investors.
Sorry, we have a problem with the interpretation. We cannot follow this. Δεν ακούτε μετάφραση. Είμαστε εντάξει. Τι συμβαίνει με την... Όχι, έχουμε ένα πρόβλημα με την... Maybe this one.
Okay, no, this one is not good.
Τι έχουμε.
No, it's a... is it working better? I said that the success of the program itself is a very strong signal sent to international investors that this society and this economy is moving in the right direction, and that helps a lot.
Πρέπει να τελειώσουμε. Μια τελευταία ερώτηση. Ο κύριος Ρογκάκος. Γι' αυτό έχετε πάει στην άκρη, γιατί είσαστε στα νησιά.
Νίκος Ρογκάκος από την τηλεόραση του Αντένα.
Παρακαλώ.
Κύριε Επίτροπε, τα θέματα των εργασιακών είναι ένα πολύ σημαντικό θέμα για την Ελλάδα. Σας άκουσα να λέτε δεν θέλετε άλλη λιτότητα για τη χώρα και νομίζω συμφωνούμε όλοι σε αυτό. Δύο όμως είναι οι βασικές προτάσεις για τα εργασιακά. Το ένα είναι συλλογικές διαπραγματεύσεις με τη μη επαναφορά. Το δεύτερο είναι οι ομαδικές απολύσεις. Θεωρείτε ότι αυτά τα δύο θα κάνουν πιο ευέλικτη την αγορά εργασίας και άρα πιο γρήγορα να έρθει η ανάπτυξη? Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
I have discussed collective bargaining with all my interlocutors here in Greece, and I think that we must take into consideration 2 points. The first one is that we have some adaptations to be made inside of the program, but the second one is that we are attached as a Commission to the European social model, to the requirements of the ILO. We have set alongside with the Greek partners an expert group, and I think that those conclusions should inspire the spirit of our final decisions to be taken during this week. I delivered some specific messages about that to my interlocutors, to the Prime Minister, to Euclid, to the Labour Minister, Effiktή, and I hope that we can find a good deal during this week. There needs to be flexibility in the labour market. so that you can hire easier. But there needs also to be a bargaining power and a bargaining capacity in a society. As I said, if you want to have inclusive growth, you need to have a strong social dialogue. And a strong social dialogue also goes through collective bargaining. But we need there to find some agreements that are at the same time constructive, but also helping to create jobs. I think we can make it.
Τελευταία ερώτηση από την νησιωτική Ελλάδα. Εδώ, δεξιά. Η κυρία. Έρχεται το μικρόφωνο.
Κύριε Επίτροπε, Παντελάκη από το απέραντο γαλάζιο του Αιγαίου. Είμαι έδρα την Κάλυμνο, το νησί των Σφουγγαράδων. Εγώ δεν θα σας κάνω ερώτηση. Δημοσιογραφικά θα σας μεταφέρω μόνο το κλίμα, την αγωνία των νησιωτών, αυτών που φιλούν θερμοπύλες μέσα και έξω από τη θάλασσα. Θα σας μεταφέρω την αγωνία τους να δείτε πιο ζεστά, πιο θερμά, τους μικρούς συντελεστές για να μπορούν να ανακάμψουν βέβαια και το αφορολόγητο στα πολύ μικρά νησιά μας. Σας ευχόμαστε καλά να περάσετε στην Ελλάδα και καλή αντάμωση στις Βρυξέλλες.
I've not been in your island, but I received the message.
Thank you very much.
Και εγώ σας ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Καλό μεσημέρι. Γεια σας. Ευχαριστώ.